Today, we're kicking things off with a profit first reminder here on the Brick and Mortar Visibility Podcast. Because guess what, you guys? It's officially the start of Q3, which means it's time to reward yourself. Yes! If you follow the profit first model, which I highly recommend you do, grab the book if you haven't, you know it's time to pull out 50% of the profit you set aside to celebrate your hard work. So here's your reminder. Check that profit account and make that transfer and do something fun with it. A little splurge, a special treat, whatever it takes to make you feel like the CEO you are. Then here's what I want you to do. I want you to send me a DM on Instagram or LinkedIn. The links are below here, and let me know how you celebrated. I love hearing from you, and I get inspired by what you guys do. So please do that. Brick and Mortar Visibility on Instagram or Melissa Rose on LinkedIn. All right, you guys, we're going to talk about retail today. I usually don't speak directly about retail stores because my specialty here is studio owners like Pilates, yoga, music, pottery, anything that has that class format. But most of us also have retail inside our studios. So that's why I wanted to bring on Sarah Kowal. Sarah is a retail expert who's gone from broke ass to badass with 2 successful businesses to her name. She's a seasoned marketer, a pitch competition judge, and a mentor who's helped thousands of brick and mortar business owners up-level their visibility and sales. In today's episode, Sarah shares her insights into what it really takes to market retail in your small business, especially when you're also managing classes, events, or clients. We did trim the episodes to keep it tight and focused, but if you're curious about pitching to investors, this is a topic we did touch on. Feel free to reach out to Sarah directly. She's done it and has some great stories and lessons to learn from. Without further ado, let's dive in to our guest today, the lovely Sarah Kowal. Welcome to Brick and Mortar Visibility, your go-to podcast for local business owners who want to stand out, scale up, and create the freedom they deserve. I'm Melissa Rose, a fellow business owner who knows firsthand that running a brick and mortar business isn't just about the sales. It's about building a legacy. Here, my guests and I are going to dive into real, unfiltered conversations about what it actually takes to run and grow a thriving business. From building and leading a powerhouse team to creating a turnkey operation, we're going to help you avoid that cash flow crunch and tap into next level marketing strategies that bring the perfect clients in your doors. Ready to be the only option in town? Let's do this. Sarah Kowal, thank you so much for being part of the Brick and Mortar Visibility Podcast. We're so happy to hear what you have to say about retail businesses.
I am so excited. Thank you for inviting me.
Your work right now in the world is helping explain what you're doing right now for business owners.
So at Project Biz Lab, I have an online business academy, and I work with small business owners, some retailers, some freelancers, consultants. And what I do is, well, one of my most popular offerings, I will just say, is called scrappy branding. You know, I got all the scrappiness from my time with Weathervane, generating all of the attention and media and all of the things that I accomplished with that startup, and really incorporated it into teaching those things to people, like working smart, not hard, you know, really stretching your dollar, how to do stuff for free. I do have a talk called Broke Marketing that I do for SCORE on the Twin Cities SCORE. And so I work both one-on-one with small business owners, and I also then have my online academy. So for example, one of my clients was a frame shop. So they were a brick and mortar in St. Paul, and they did custom framing. And when I went in there, you know, we looked at their profit and loss, looked at their whole marketing strategy. I could never get profit and losses to be sexy, but I really love diving into them. They tell such a story, right? And, but really primarily I work with their branding, helping people stand out. And it's better to be a little fish or a big fish in a small pond than a small fish in a big pond. And that's something I teach, and we create the storyline of that. And also because people want to do business with people. They don't want to do business with brands. And so it's actually not very tricky if you know how to do it well. And so that's what I work with retailers and small business owners on. One of the things that I've seen in the Twin Cities, I also lived on the West Coast. One of the most successful things that I've seen work when there's a large contingency of similar kinds of retailers is like to do pop-up nights, collaborative events. There's like third Thursdays or what have you, and they generate opportunities for each other as a collective where the more complementary, businesses you have in one geographic zone can actually enhance and create opportunities. And also, along those same lines is, you not just once a week or once a month, but you create that as a destination. And that raises everybody up. Definitely. And I'm sure we can all think of neighborhoods, like Stillwater used to have a ton of antique stores, right? Or different touristy stuff. And there's multiple ice cream stores in Stillwater, but it helps draw everybody in.
What are one or two ways that you help businesses become that big fish?
Well, it's really better to be the big fish in the small pond. So really we're looking at specialty or differentiating, and so that in a way that what I call your perfect future client, that you're really speaking directly to them. And they know by your language and the things you're saying that, like, I know there's this phrase, like, you have your tribe, right? You've heard of that. So you create your tribe and they know you for something and they see kind of the messaging consistently being put out there and the messaging itself is consistent. And it's almost like one of those earworm songs like Feliz Navidad, where like, if I need ice cream, for example, there's, a handful that spring to mind immediately. And so you need to be the go-to for your perfect future client or customer. You need to be the go-to for them. And a lot of retailers, they know who that person is as a, persona, what their interests are. And they really create their branding and their awareness and marketing around that person. And that is really how you differentiate yourself from your competitors, is really knowing who you serve and creating a relationship with them through your marketing, through where you're at, And I mean, when I did Weather Vane, one of the places that I went to market it, I did like the Afton, Minnesota Art Fair. Because I knew people that were going to travel to an art fair were going to be the same people that were going to come looking for artisan cheese across the border. And it was the right demographic. And so even though it wasn't like a perfect match, actually it was perfect because I knew who my people were and I put myself there.
Yeah.
I work in the world of marketing. There's a lot of marketers in the Twin Cities that are freelancers, and the world of marketing, for example, is so vast and there's so many components to it.
Yes.
So there's like social media and there's websites and there's e-newsletters and et cetera, et cetera. So whenever I meet a marketer, I mean, I'm always excited to build what I call my biz lifelines, right? And so there's a particular marketer, well, there's several of them that I've connected with where we will do work sessions together, where we co-work. We do Zoom co-working. So we'll have like a whole hour together. And if we'll both catch up, like, this is what I'm working on and this is what I'm working on. If we have anything to contribute, we share that with each other. We have this dedicated time to work on our businesses. And it works out really, really well. Or we email each other, like, who do you use for just trying to think. Someone reached out to me a few months ago and they said, "Oh yeah, who do you use for designing websites? Like not the developing and the code, but the design." And and I had like two contacts, and I was like, "Tell them Sarah sent you."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it works really, really well that way. And then also, it works in that you share. We kind of swap clients sometimes too. There's someone in my academy right now that is in the landscaping industry, and she works on wildflowers and native plants, and she's a garden consultant. And so she has other landscapers and consultants that they refer clients back and forth to
Mm-hmm.
each other, where it's like, well, this person wants natives versus this one just wants it to look really pretty, really instantaneously to sell their home.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that falls, across all of retail too, where there are better places and you can identify pretty easily that a customer would be better served somewhere else. And so when you are doing that, people love that, because when you're stingy, what I call stingy, and you would never, right, send someone elsewhere, people can sense that about a person. And as I mentioned before, people do business with people, not brands. And so, and that's also goes along obviously with retail staff too, that they're representing, who, what you, how you've identified your values. And so people appreciate that and they will come back again, or
Mm-hmm.
they'll send their friends to
Mm-hmm.
your storefront.
Scrappy marketing, you said, is one of your
Yeah,
courses. That's
scrappy
really,
branding.
yeah. So give us a couple highlights of maybe some stories of what you've experienced in there to help people understand what you do more, so that if they're interested, they can reach out to you.
I worked with a realtor recently, for example, and we were doing a scrappy branding plan for them. And much like in retail, I mean, a realtor is basically, to me, like when I go and network at chamber meetings, there's always a handful of realtors, there's insurance people, there's bankers. They kind of, to me, all are good. Like, if you don't know, they all just seem the same, right? They all have the same services, they all have
Mm-hmm.
the same stuff as the next bank. And so we work together on, well, first of all, his digital footprint, which is really very common in any business, especially mom and pops, is that we really don't focus on having a consistent anything, right? We're wearing all the hats. We might post something whenever, but to make sure everything is consistent and to make sure that the actions that you're doing make sense to what you're trying to accomplish. So also, talking about social media, if you don't have a strategy,
Don't
you
even
just
do
want
it.
to look alive, right? Like don't waste it,
Yeah.
don't waste money, don't waste time unless you're really going to do it right. So with this particular realtor, we had identified a wonderful niche for him, and he suggested it, and it was empty nesters
Perfect.
who are, their kids just move out of the house, they've got a house, they've got equity, so financing is kind of not a problem. And so that's beautiful, because you want to find these people and that they can afford you, that they, all of those things. And so we did a deep dive in how you would get in front of those people, where you would find them, where do they hang out.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out, well, I think it's no surprise, like the pickleball court is a good place to meet them, right? And so, I mean, that was just right. And then there's other strategies we did, and we interviewed people that he worked with in the past that fit this
Yeah.
persona.
Yeah.
And I interviewed them for 30 minutes, and we talked about, if you're looking for a retailer, where do you look? And, if you were to Google, what would you Google? And so it's so critical to stop and ask the actual people
Yes.
that
I
are
love that.
buying from you, what, using their words. I mean, you learn so much when they say, well, my daughter works in a high school and she recommended her friend to me. I mean, that's a huge window of opportunity in a way, because that's, you just find out how random people select realtors. And if you're getting in front of them, and it's like the law of attraction, you get in their mind space, and when they need you, you're the only one that pops in their head. They know where to go. And so that's really what we focus on, our strategies for, say, the next 6 months, to get in front of those right people, to engage them, and do it in multiple areas. So email might be one, social media might be one, even postcards, snail mail. So, or getting out and doing a pop-up somewhere, especially in retail, pop-ups are, and always if you have something that you sample, whether it's food or lip gloss or whatever, always be handing out samples. So that's what I call being a data collector, is that you're actually getting people's names, their email addresses. You can survey them later, get their demographics. Anyway, that's a whole other topic, but I'm very passionate, especially in retail. One of the things that we know that we don't necessarily do is to develop some sort of loyalty program. And that's a whole other thing too. But to really be so that you are when they're ready to find you, you're there.
Interesting that you bring up loyalty. I find that as well. I help with a restaurant, and I keep wanting them to maximize this loyalty program, and the owner just isn't on board, and I'm like, well, you're not making it special enough, you're not making it exciting for them to do it. Yeah, discounts, but what can we do on other things to make it like a wow factor for them, that they're like, oh my gosh, yes, you have to get on this because it's worth it. As we know, your current clients are the best. We want to keep them. So if we can keep them and then easily
how do
get
you
referrals,
find more of those favorite people, right?
It's their friends. Yeah. So keep
like
the current ones and let's,
can afford you, the ones that are loyal, whatever that is, the ones that need you, who are they? Like, there was an insurance agent I worked with a while ago, and she specialized in big toys of Minnesota. So she would say, if you got a boat, a snowmobile, whatever, like, even though she offered all the insurance, right? But because of her differentiating, they're like, oh, yes, I do have a boat. I do have a snowmobile or a jet ski. I need her. Right? So it's all in that. And she's offers all the same things that every other insurance agent. So, but it's also what she's passionate about, and bringing that in. So, I mean, there's a whole like 360 assessment of not that your brand is something that you are not, but really bringing you in because you're the owner, and trying to find a balance that's authentic. And because people, they can smell inauthenticity, like so easily. It's like smelling a rat, right?
Can you talk a little bit about SCORE?
So SCORE, I think the organization is just SCORE, right? Like, I was an FFA in high school, and at the time it was Future Farmers of America, and then they changed it just to be FFA. Like, it's just letters that don't mean anything. And I think that's the story of SCORE too. Back in the day, the RE stand for Retired Executives. And so what it was initially, it's funded by the Department of Treasury, but it's really run all by volunteers. And they pair business owners with mentors. Back in the day, it was retired executives, but now there's just a whole array of mentors that are available in every industry. And since the pandemic, it's really borderless as far as, being stuck to someone that's in your area. There's mentors all over the United States and workshops that you can watch on Zoom all over the US. So it's a really incredible organization. When I was developing the business plan for Weathervane Creamery, I was searching out all the free resources, the Small Business Development Center, Economic Development Centers, SCORE, I mean, there are so many resources. There is not a shortage.
No, there's not.
Um,
Yeah.
and they will, hold your hand and walk you through a business plan. That's just one example. But then there are experts in your field too that have been where you are at and can help lead you.
So this is an organization, you all, that is like a mentorship program, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just this great community that helps business owners. And yes, there's a lot, like Sarah was saying, there's a lot of places out there. The university here just down the street is great program for businesses, whether you're starting out or many years in, and it's just so good. So and then we have all the coaches and everybody online too that is there to help. So there's not a shortage, but I thought that was really a cool thing. So are you a mentor then with it?
I am a mentor in that I help teach workshops, or I do teach workshops, usually about one a quarter. And right now, the next one is in July in 2025 here, and it's part 2 of working hard or working smart. and there are also live workshops as well besides virtual. But other mentors that are working one-on-one with their client, they're called clients, but it's free, right? So they will call on me and ask if I'll do a 1 hour session with their clients in a particular area, and so I will do that as well.
Very cool.
So
Very cool.
I love giving back, especially to the startup community. It's kind of where my heart is.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing a little bit about what you do and how you help business owners and getting scrappy and collaborating and all that fun stuff that we
Yeah.
do to help. And if you're more retail and want to learn more about Sarah Cole and what she has to offer, please click the links in the bio. We'll make sure we have those here. But any parting words here, Sarah, that you would like to share with everybody?
Well, I just would like to share, I had an experience with Weather Vane Creamery with an owner on Main Street that was very, when I talked to her about interviewing her about her experience while I was working on my business plan, I will just say she was very cold shoulder. And I didn't understand that. And I still don't understand that. I was going to be offering ice cream and she didn't have ice cream, and her opinion was that anyone that sold any type of food or beverage was a competitor. And that is really, it's a shame and it's short-sighted. And you're really missing out if you have this idea, this scarcity mentality. You're really missing out on the richness of community and other people that can contribute to you. And I don't really think there's much room for that, the way that consumers, they notice and they want to go to places that are welcoming. And if you're unwelcoming in other areas, it's going to show in your business too. So
really,
that's my parting words.
Yeah. It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
Whether you say it out loud, people can hear it and feel it on your energy. So that's so
Yeah,
true.
thank you for having me, Melissa.
Of
I know we
course,
covered all
yes.
sorts of
Yeah,
different
we
areas,
did.
but
Yeah, this was good. This was good. So I'm excited for people to learn more about you at Project Biz Lab, right?
yeah, and all the URLs are at Project Biz Lab, LinkedIn,
Awesome.
Facebook, Insta. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Sarah, and everybody else. If you want to reach out to Sarah, ask your questions, learn more about, please do that. She would love to hear from you. Otherwise, we will see you here, same time, same place next week. Peace. Bye-bye. Did you know the work you do today will shape your business 60 to 90 days from now? That momentum doesn't stop there. It ripples right into your personal life. So let me ask you, based on what you're doing right now, where are you headed? Will it be the same old thing, different day? Or are you really ready to level up? If you're shouting level up, let's make sure it actually happens. Join me and a crew of powerhouse business owners in my mastermind called Level Up, Your Business, Your Life. This isn't just another meeting. It's your secret weapon to accountability, strategic thinking, and inspiration. We meet monthly to empower each other, take bold action, and crush the goals that really matter. Want to know more? Head to the link in my bio or visit msmelissarose.com/mastermind. It would be my absolute privilege to be part of your journey to the next level. Let's make it happen together. I hope I get to see you in our next cohort of Level Up Your Business, Your Life.